class, welcome back to your online class. So in our last class we were discussing chapter 7, that is interdependence of living beings, plants and animals. In our previous chapter we have discussed about the living components of environment like plants, animals, microorganisms, on the basis of production of the food, like producer, consumer, right? We have discussed about all those in our previous class. So like I told you in the introductory class itself, the main thing that we are going to learn in this particular chapter is how is plant and animal interdependent upon each other. Okay, so that we will be taking up today. We will be discussing interdependence among plants and animals. Okay, so what do you think, how are they interdependent upon each other? So as we know, plants, they prepare food, right? What is the process by which they prepare food? Photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, what all do they need? Sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, right? Chlorophyll content, chlorophyll should be present in the plant, right? So they prepare food. Plants are, that's why referred to as producer also, because they can prepare their own food. Okay, now herbivores, they are dependent upon the plants for the food. Okay, so let us take the example of cow. Herbivores, cow is an herbivore, so it is dependent upon the plants for the food. Okay, it eats of the plant so that it eats up the plant as a food, and then the plant inside them is broken down in order to produce energy, right? So, and cow, they are eaten by lion. Lion are carnivores. Okay, so here you can see the energy flow is taking place from plant to the cow, from cow to the lion. Okay, this flow of energy is only referred to as your food chain. So the primarily all the animals are dependent upon the plants for what? Food. Okay, all of us are dependent upon the plants directly or indirectly for the food. Without plants, our survival will not be possible. Okay, because let us take, if we are vegetarian, we are directly dependent on the plants because we feed on only plants, right? That plants components are then broken down inside our body in order to produce energy. With the help of that energy only, we will be able to perform different activities, our day-to-day activities. If we do not eat food, do you think we will be able to perform any kind of activities like this? No, we will not be able to perform, right? So the primary dependence is for food. Okay, all the animals are dependent upon the plants for food. Okay, so I hope you understood what is food chain. Food chain means flow of energy. Like here I have given you the example. Cows are dependent upon the plants for the food, and then from that food only they will get the energy. Plants eventually are dependent upon sunlight. Okay, with the help of sunlight only they prepare the food, and cow are eaten up by the lion. So you can see the energy flow is taking place in the different sections. This is producer, then you have primary consumer, secondary consumer. So the energy flow is taking place. So this is only referred to as food chain. I will give you another example of food chain. Grass is being eaten up by grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are being eaten up by frogs. Frogs are then eaten up by snake. Snake is then eaten up by eagle. So you can see the energy flow is taking place in the form of food. So this is referred to as food chain. All the animals are interlinked upon each other for the food. Okay, so this is referred to as your food chain. So first primary purpose, how are they dependent upon, how are plants and animals dependent upon each other? For the food. Okay, and next one is for exchange of gases. For example, plants, they need carbon dioxide. We all know that, right? What do they need? They need carbon dioxide. Why do they need carbon dioxide? In order to carry out photosynthesis. And who gives them the carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is released by different animals, because during the process of breaking down of the food, the excretory product which is released along with the energy is your carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is taken up by the plants in order to prepare their food. And while they prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis, along with the glucose, which gas is released? Oxygen. And do we need oxygen? Yes. Why do we need oxygen? In order to break down the food, in order to produce energy. Without energy, will we be able to do any kind of work? No, we will not be able to do any kind of work. So, for a production of the energy, oxygen is very much essential. So, here you can see how plants and animals are interdependent upon each other for certain components. For example, plants need carbon dioxide from us, and we need oxygen from the plants. So, I hope you understood how plants and animals are dependent upon each other. Yes, animals, they need food, and directly or indirectly they are dependent upon the plants, because plants are only the sole producer of our environment. So, we are dependent upon it for the food. Okay. And other than food, also for the gas, which the help of which they prepare food, and animals with the help of which they break down food in order to produce energy. I hope you understood what is dependency of plants and animals, and I hope you understood what do you mean by food chain. Food chain means flow of a food in the flow of energy in the form of the food. Okay, and you can see all the animals are interlinked with each other for the food. So, that's referred to as a chain, because they are forming a chain system here. That's why it is referred to as food chain. You can cite your own examples also. Okay, I have given you 2 examples. Other than this, you can cite your own example too. Okay, plants and animals are interdependent upon each other, right? So, next, do you think if the population of carnivores are increasing at a exceeding rate as compared to herbivores, do you think the balance can be maintained? No, balance will not, because if the carnivores are increasing at exceeding rate, let us say lions are increasing at exceeding rate, what will happen to the deers present in the forest? All of them will be eaten up, okay, and their population will completely cease. Okay, and when their population completely ceases, after a while, will lions also have anything to eat? No, they will not have anything to eat. So, balance in the nature will be disrupted. Therefore, that's why population of all the producer, consumer, primary consumer, secondary consumer has to be balanced. Okay, only then environment is going to function well. But there are certain factors which leads to imbalance in the nature. So, we will be discussing about the factors which leads to imbalance in nature. What are the factors? Number 1 is your hunting. Number 2, forest fire. Then you have deforestation. All these are the factors which leads to imbalance in nature. First, hunting. We all know what is hunting, right? Illegal poaching or killing of animals is referred to as hunting. Different animals such as deer, elephants, lions, they are killed here now. They are killed now and then for the meat, skin. Elephant for the tusk. Okay, they are, because they are very valuable. So, people illegally kill these animals, because of which the extinction of these animals has taken place, and then it's leading to disruption in the balance in the nature. So, hunting is one of the factor. That's why now people, if they illegally go and hunt the animals, okay, they will be imprisoned for several years. Okay. Then you have forest fire. Forest fire means accidental, sometimes it's because of the natural factors. Okay, like you have this year in 2020 only you had heard of Amazon forest, you know. Amazon forest is also referred to as the lungs of our earth. What does lungs do? It helps in taking in the oxygen, right, production. So Amazon forest is referred to as a lungs of our earth. So you could see early in 2020 huge forest fire, natural forest fire had occurred in the Amazon forest, because of which huge loss of plants and animals took place. So even the forest fire, sometimes natural forest fire, or sometimes people they do it on the purpose for clearing the forests for the settlements. Okay. So forest fire. Next is deforestation. We all know what is deforestation, right? Cutting down of the trees at a mass level. Okay, for trees, for maybe cutting down of the trees, maybe for settlements. Okay, in order to build houses or factories or setting up the industries. Okay, or it may be for making furnitures and all those purpose, for human purpose. Okay, so that's the deforestation, cutting down of the trees at a mass level. Okay, so all these factors leads to imbalance in the nature. Okay, now because of this imbalance, and also number 4 other factor is pollution. Now as we know that human population is increasing at a very exploding rate, more rate which is unmanageable. Now with the exploding rate of population, their demands will also increase, right? So now when the demands increase, human population settlements is directly related to the pollution. More humans, more cars, more clearing of the forest. Okay, in order to grow more crops, in order to feed the large population, more and more of fertilizers are being used. Okay, so human population, increasing rate of human population can be directly related with the pollution, and this pollution is leading to many problems like extinction of survival of the, we know, right, polar bears, glaciers, global warming, temperature is rising at a higher rate, because of which glaciers are melting, polar bears are dying off in those areas. The temperature of the earth is so high that survival of many animals is not possible, which is leading to the extinction, right? So human exploding rate of human population is also directly related to the pollution. So all these things are leading to imbalance in nature. Okay. So that's all about today's. That's all about this particular chapter. In this particular chapter, 2 important things: how are plants and animals dependent upon each other, okay, and how is balance in the nature being disrupted. These are the 2 important topics that you have to go through. Okay, so that's all about this chapter. We had a very brief chapter. So next I'll follow it up with the question and answer from this chapter. Please write it in a neat and clear handwriting, okay, because most of the copies that I have received this time, you did not write it in a good handwriting. Okay, so write it in a neat and clean handwriting. Okay.